Hello and welcome back to Peak Sports. I'm Weston, and in today's video we're going to be covering part 2 of the best college football rivalry trophies across the country. If you guys haven't seen part 1, I will link that in the description below, and you guys can check that out after this video for more unique and funny college football trophies. In today's video, we're going to be doing the top 5 rivalry trophies. Now, these are in no particular order. It's just a matter of when I decided to start my research on each one, but I hope you guys enjoy the list and let's get into it. So first on the list, we have Paul Bunyan's axe between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, this is a very well-known college football rivalry, and I didn't really think that I was going to cover it at the beginning just because it's so not mainstream, but well-known, and I kind of wanted to do more lesser-known, unique trophies. But after researching this one, I had to put it in. There's way too much history, way too much tradition to leave it out of this list. So this is actually the most played rivalry in the country at 132 meetings between Minnesota and Wisconsin. The first meeting between these two teams dates all the way back to 1890, and they've played every single year with the exception of one. That was in 1906. So what happened in 1906? Well, none other than the president, Teddy Roosevelt, put an end to rivalry games that year due to the high amount of injuries and death of players on the field. So a bit understandable, but hey, took 1 year off. Let's get right back into it next year. So they've been playing consistently all through since 1906. And what makes this even better is that the series all time up until 2023 is tied 62, 62, and 8. Just the makings of a perfect rivalry in college football. Now, sadly and interestingly, in 1943, we lost the original rivalry trophy known as the Slab of Bacon. Now, the trophy is what you might expect. It's a piece of bacon on a board. And it actually bears a football with the letter M or the letter W, depending on how you hang it on the wall, which is just an ingenious design, perfect for Wisconsin, Minnesota, and signifies the winning team bringing home the bacon. So in 1943, unfortunately, there were issues transferring the trophy between the teams when Minnesota fans stormed the field after a home win, and the transition from team to team was lost and eventually forgotten about. But like a lot of these rivalry trophies that I've been reading about, it was later discovered in a random storage closet in Camp Randall Stadium back in 1994 and is on display today in Wisconsin. So after losing the Slab of Bacon, Paul Bunyan's axe was instituted in 1948. And tradition is for the winning school to take the axe after the game and chop down the goalpost, symbolically chopping down the opponent's goalpost. Now, if your team is taking that trophy from the other team, it's customary for the team to go and steal it from the other sideline after the game, which is amazing, but as can be expected, this has resulted in some contentious transfers, but luckily is still a thing today. Next on our list is Floyd of Rosedale. Now, this is one that I had never heard of before researching these trophies. It's between Iowa and, again, Minnesota. Minnesota leads this series 67, 47, and 2. Now, this trophy was first introduced back in 1935, and it's actually a very interesting story as to why this is a trophy. There was a conflict that arose between the two teams back in 1934 when Iowa accused Minnesota of dirty play against their African-American running back, Ozzie Simons. And tensions were understandably very high leading into the matchup in 1935. Leading up to the game, the governors raised a bet that the winner would receive a prize hog from the other state. This was an attempt to cool relations leading up to the matchup. Minnesota won a hard-fought game 13-6 and actually went on to win the national championship that year. The pig was donated by Alan Loomis from Rosedale Farms in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and the pig got its name after the Minnesota governor Floyd Olson, thus the name Floyd of Rosedale. Sadly, the pig passed away shortly after and was replaced with a replica statue that we have today. and is passed from winning team to winning team year by year. And it's actually said, I don't know how true this is, but the burial of the pig is only 6 miles from Iowa and is almost exactly halfway between the two schools. Coming in at number 3 on the list, the golden hat between Texas and Oklahoma. And this trophy goes to the winner of the well-known rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma, known by many names, but most commonly referred to as the Red River Rivalry. Now, this rivalry name itself comes from the Red River that divides Texas and Oklahoma. And the trophy is just that. It's a 10-gallon gold-colored cowboy hat. And even though this is a very popular rivalry and trophy, I wasn't able to find any unique, funny stories about this trophy, but no doubt it's a beautiful, unique trophy in and of itself, and I can't think of a better way to symbolize Texas versus Oklahoma squaring off in the Cotton Bowl in good old Dallas, Texas, than a golden 10-gallon hat. So we can thank the Texas State Fair for that. And number 4, the $5 bits of broken chair trophy between, you guessed it, Minnesota and Nebraska. Now, Minnesota leads this series 36-25-2, and this is a fairly modern trophy, but very entertaining nonetheless. It all started with some banter between a Bo Pelini parody account on Twitter and Goldie Gopher, the mascot for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Goldie presented a wager where the team to score the most points gets, you guessed it, a conference win. Faux Pelini, the parody account, promptly responded that if Nebraska wins, he gets $5 from the mascot, and if Minnesota wins, he gets to smash a chair over the mascot's head. And that's what started the design of $5 bits of a broken chair trophy. And the bottom of the chair features two $5 bills with both respective mascots. I believe the original one had Faux Pelini's head on it. The trophy is still considered unofficial, but here's to a long and storied rivalry between the two teams. Last but certainly not least on the list today is the Old Oaken Bucket between Purdue and Indiana. Another long storied Big Ten rivalry. This one dates back all the way to 1891. And the trophy was actually first introduced in 1925. There was at the time ongoing discussion as to what trophy should be awarded for this game. And it was decided on an old oak bucket because it was, quote, the most typical Hoosier form of trophy. I'm not quite sure what that means, if it's some kind of basketball reference with the buckets they used to use. I'm not sure, but there you go. And it was also proposed that this bucket come from a real well in Indiana. The special bucket was decided on from the Bruner family farm in southern Indiana. Now, we've seen similar trophies of this, buckets, jugs, things of that nature, but what I love about this trophy and what separates it from the rest is the chain of P's and I's that are attached. Each team gets to attach a letter every time they win the trophy. So over the years, this chain keeps growing and the tradition gets strengthened, and really, the Big Ten just knows how to do rivalries. And there was one honorable mention that I wanted to throw in here, and that is the Black Diamond Trophy between Virginia Tech and West Virginia. The trophy itself can be traced back to 1997, and it represents the rich coal history of that region. These two teams actually did meet up in 2022. West Virginia will have the trophy and bragging rights for the foreseeable future due to the teams belonging to two separate conferences at the moment. Thank you, conference realignment. But I did want to throw this trophy in there just because I thought it was really cool. The black diamond looks really nice. It's just a pretty trophy. And that'll do it for my list. I might come out with a part 3 if I find more and enough to put into another list. But let me know in the comments which trophy is your favorite, which one should I cover in another video. And just thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.